Okay, so okay, so it is recording, so we're gonna start for today. So welcome back, everyone. I'm glad you guys could join me today. So we're just gonna continue from where we left off for Monday. Okay, so I do have a slide here just for the agenda for today. So I hope that everyone's having a great week and I'm looking forward to our class for today. I know that there's only two of you guys here, but we're gonna go through as much of our lesson as we can because it is already 11:50. But and then I am recording it, so it will be on the YouTube channel if you'd like to review it. We're gonna go over so last on Monday I went through our verb vocabulary. We're going to review that again. We have Monday, we went over our regular AR verb conjugation charts. So we're going to go over that again just to make sure that you guys understand what's going on. We're going to start, and I don't think we're going to finish it, but we're going to start going over regular ER and IR verb endings. We're going to go over examples of those, and I did add in a few new verb vocabulary, and that's just going to help us out. They're all regular verbs, so don't worry about anything weird happening. But this is it's just going to help us with practice and things like that. And we're actually, I don't think we're going to get to it, but we're going to try and use some of our verb conjugations in a sentence. And I'm not sure if you guys joined. I haven't checked it since yesterday. So did either one of you guys get a chance to join the Google Classroom? I did set one up and I did put the PowerPoints for the past 3 days in there. So I wasn't sure if you guys were able to join or not.
I think I did join it.
You think you did? Okay, I can check it after class. I am going to send out an email to the whole class with the link to join the Google Classroom. So I know I put it in the chat last week, but I'm going to actually send it in an email. So you guys have it. If you already joined, don't worry about it. It's just so the whole class gets it. Um, and yeah, so I think what we're going to do, and the only thing that I have in the Google Classroom right now is the PowerPoints, but I am going to add some activities and things in there. I'm still learning how to use it, but we're getting there. And I am working on getting Jamboard and Nearpod set up. It's all new to me, so I'm working on it, but we'll get there. And I am going to add some activities in there, and we can work on those in class or whatever we have to do. So let's start with the review of verb conjugations. So does everyone remember, just a review from last class, that all Spanish verbs end in AR, ER, and IR? Does everybody remember that? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, and like I said, we have tons of examples of those. So in order to conjugate the verb, so that's basically, I don't know if you guys remember what conjugate means, but it's you change the verb based on who is doing the action. So let me just
Like
move.
a female or a male?
Like the subject of the sentence, like I, you, he, her. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like we do this in English. Like you could say I talk, she talks. Do you see how like the verb is different?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So we do that. And in Spanish, we have to separate the ending of the verb from the stem. So I have an example right here. We did go over this last week, but I figured, so let's see. So we have an example here. So a verb in Spanish is hablar, which is to talk. And we talked about last week that AR, right, is the ending of the verb, right? So that's the AR ending. So we have the habla, HABL, and then AR is the ending. So you take that off, and HABL is the stem. And we remember this is the part of the verb that we use when we conjugate, right? So, oh, hi, Denim, how are you? All right, just had to write down that you were here. But okay, so let's just do a review of our subjects because we will need these when we conjugate the verbs. So let's remember that yo is I, tú is you, él is he, ella is she, usted is you formal. So we don't have this in English, but remember that we use usted when we're referring to like a teacher or you know, someone we don't know that well, you know, so friends' parents or anything like that. And okay, so nosotros is we, ellos is they, and ustedes is like you guys, like y'all, if you're talking to more than one person. And I know I added in vosotros from last week, but that's only in Spain when you're talking to more than one person, and it's not real important. Most teachers don't teach it, so we're just going to leave it out. So it's simple. Okay, so here is our review of our AR conjugations. So remember, we take the stem of the verb, we get rid of the AR, IR, or ER ending, and we change the ending based on who the subject is. So when it's yo, you add O to the stem. When it's tú, you add AS to the stem. When it's él, ella, or usted, you'll add A to the stem. When it's nosotros, you add amos to the end, and ellos and ellas is, and also ustedes. Let me add that in there. I don't know why I didn't do that. I'll add that at the end. But you add an to the end. Okay, and just an example of that, so this makes some sense, is so we're just going to use hablar like we did last week. Hablar is to talk, and you see how, let's see, you see how when we conjugate this, we take the AR off and we only use the stem. So when we say yo hablo, remember we add the O. So that means I talk. And when you say tú hablas, see, we're using the stem again and we're adding the AS. So that is you talk. We have él, ella, usted, habla. So you see all of these, he, she, and you formal all use the same ending. So we see we have the stem and we add the ending. So nosotros, we have hablamos, and we have the stem again, the same as all the other ones. And we add the ending of amos. And for ellos and ustedes, which is they and you guys, we have the stem, the habl, the HABL, and we add the AN as the ending. Does this make sense to everybody? Do you need me to go over this again? Or would you like another example, or is everybody okay?
Another example.
You would like another example?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Let me go down here, and I will add in another slide here so we can do an example together, okay? So so let me add in a table here.
My eyes burn.
What was that?
My eyes burn.
Oh, okay. So
Standing at the screen for a long time.
yeah, I know what you mean. I'm the same way. I'm actually a student too, so I understand that completely. So take another regular AR verb. And this cantar means to sing. We have that in our vocabulary list, but just a refresher. So let me make this a little bit bigger so we can see. So our first subject is I, right?
Uh-huh.
So do you remember how to say I in Spanish?
No.
It's yo.
Yo.
Okay. So do you know what the stem of cantar is?
No.
So remember, we're gonna separate the ending. The AR is the ending and the CANT is the stem, right?
Yes.
So when we conjugate, we're gonna take the CANT and that's our stem. And do you remember what ending we add on?
Kentar. Something like that. Kentar. AR or AN. Wait.
It's an AR verb, right? So what do we add in for yo? Let's go back here and look. Do you see this?
O.
Yeah.
Is that O?
Yep. Yep. So then,
Kento?
yep. Yep. And do you remember what this means?
No. To sing?
Yes. So we're using I. So what
I can sing.
it's just I sing.
I sing.
Yep, because cantar means to sing in Spanish. So when you conjugate it, it just says I sing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so let's continue with our chart here. Oh, I don't know why my computer does that.
To.
So do you remember what to means?
No.
Okay, so let's go back here. Do you see it here?
You.
Yes. Yep. Yep. So and so we have so two.
Wait, can you go back to the other
This one?
slide? Yeah, I want to screenshot that.
Sure, go ahead. And I did share this PowerPoint with you guys on Google Classroom too. So, but feel free. Would you also like to screenshot the chart with the AR verb endings?
Yeah.
Okay,
Got
go.
it.
Okay. Okay, so we have two here. So what are we gonna do next? So we have to take the stem of the verb. Do you remember what the stem is?
Can't.
Yes. So what ending are we adding? Do you remember?
Is it O still or no?
No, it's not O. You see?
As.
Yes, there you go. Let me go back.
Candace. Candace.
Cantus. Cantus.
Kentus.
Yes, there you go. So do you remember what this would mean? You know,
You sing.
yes, yes, yes. There you go. Good job. Okay, so let's continue with our chart here. So we have he, él, ella, and usted.
You said.
Yes. Do you remember what each of these mean?
I should learn this in high school Spanish. My last high school Spanish class.
That's okay. That's okay if you don't remember. We're gonna go over it.
She.
Yes, the ella means she, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember what she means?
Huh?
Do you remember what el or usted means?
You said is you.
Yes. Yep. Do you remember what el means?
He.
Yes. There you go. So when we conjugate this, we're going to take the stem again, right? So what's the stem?
Can't.
Yep. Do you remember what ending we add on? Back to our chart here.
Or is it A or O, right?
Yep, it's just A because the yo is for O. So it's A.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna go here. There you go. So can you tell me what this means?
Canta. He or she or you canta. It
Yeah.
could be either.
So it would be he, she, or you.
Can sing.
Just
Or sing.
yep, just sing. Yep, he, she, or you sing. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's continue here.
The
Okay,
strokes. The sotos.
yes,
Okay.
remember what that means?
Nope.
Let's go back to our chart here.
I must.
Yep, well, that is the correct ending, yes. So, but what does nosotros mean?
We.
Yes, there you go. Good job. So we're going to take the stem again, right?
Yes.
Okay. And what ending are we adding?
Almost.
There you go. So what does this mean?
I'm sounding it out, or I'm saying what we sing,
Yes. Yep.
or
Go. Yep, that's correct. Good job. We have one more to do here.
Ellis.
Do you remember what that means? What do you
They.
Yes, ellos is they, and what does ustedes mean?
You guys has y'all.
Yep, that's correct. And do you remember the stem for this one?
And.
Yes, that's the ending. So there's your stem, right? The CANT is the stem.
Or can't. Oh yeah. Can't and.
Yep. So do you know what this would mean?
They sing.
Yep. Or
You guys or y'all.
yep, there you go. Yep, that's exactly what it is. Good job. So are you okay with this, or would you like another example, or
No, I'm good with now.
you're good with it now?
Yeah.
Okay. Is everybody else okay? Be okay. Yep. So okay, so we did that. So today, and we're definitely going to review this on Monday, but just a start to this. So remember how we said that all verbs in Spanish end in AR, ER, or IR?
Yeah.
Okay. So did you notice how the verbs that we've been working with so far end in AR?
Yeah.
So now we're gonna work on verbs that end in ER. And it's not too much different, so it should be okay. It's not, but like I said, we'll go over it. So as you can see, we'll move on to the chart. As you can see, the subjects are all the same. I, you, he, she, you formal, we, they, and you guys. So the subjects are all the same. That none of that changes. So when for the yo, the I, we add an O, just like we do with the AR endings. And you, in AR, we add AS. In ER verbs, we add ES. So it's not that much different. For he, she, and you formal, we add an E at the end of the stem. Remember, in AR verbs, we add an A. So it's just a little bit different. For nosotros, which is we add EMOS at the end of the stem. And remember, in AR verbs, we added AMOS. So again, almost the same thing.
So this is a different chart right here, right?
Yes, this is a different chart. This is for the ER verbs. So you feel free to screenshot this or anything like that.
Okay.
Okay. And our last category here is they and you guys. And at the end of those verbs, we add an EN, which remember for the AR verbs, we added an AN. So it's almost the same thing. It's just a little bit different for the ER verbs. Does that make sense, or do you need a little bit more clarification?
I get it.
You get it? Okay. So I do have, let's see. I do have, ooh, okay, here we go. I do have an example of an ER.
Como.
Yes, yep. So remember, comer is going to be our verb, which is to eat. So remember, the ER is ending, right? And the COM is the stem. So the COM is what we're going to use to conjugate. So here we go. We have yo, I, and here's our stem, the COM, and we add an O at the end for our
So como means eat?
Comer means to eat, yes. So what would, just take a guess. What does yo como mean?
I eat.
Yes, yep, that's what it means. So we have two here, to comes. Do you have any idea what that would mean?
You eat.
Yes, there you go. And com is the stem and es is the ending, like we have in the chart before. So we have él, ella, usted come. Do you know what that would mean?
He, she, or what's the last one? We,
You,
you
formal.
eat.
Yep. Yes, there you go. And you can see here we have the stem right here, the com, and the e is the ending, right? So then we have, let's move on to our next category. We have nosotros comemos. Can you tell me what this means?
We eat.
Yes, there you go. See, the stem is the same, the com, and the amos is the ending. So we have ellos or ustedes comen. Can you tell me what that means?
They.
Yep.
Or you guys or y'all.
Yep. And then what do they do?
Eat.
Yes, there you go. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
Do you need another example?
Why is the if it means the same thing, why is the spell change?
So you know how in English we could say I eat, you eat. Do you know what I mean? Like it's we
Yeah.
eat, they eat. So in Spanish, they actually they do this because when I didn't tell you guys this yet, but we'll go over this a little bit later on, but just as an insight, when you use like these in a sentence, like the verbs like como, comes, or come, you actually don't have to put the subject if you don't want to. Like you can say yo como, which means I eat, but you can also just say como and they'll know what you're saying. Because they're all different. You see how como, comes, come, comemos, and comen. So they're all different. So even if you don't use the subject, which is yo, tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros, and ellos and ustedes. Even if you don't put them in your sentence, they will know who the subject of your sentence is because your verbs are different. For right now, I would recommend putting the subjects in your sentences, but that's just a heads up, and then that's why they do it, so it's different, so they know what you're talking about. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want another example of that?
No.
Or you're ready to move on?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we have remember all the verbs end in AR, IR, or ER. So we went over AR and ER. So the only one we have left is the regular IR conjugation. And this isn't much different from the ER verbs, so don't worry. There's only a little bit of a difference. So again, with IR verbs, all of the subjects are still the same. We have yo for I, tú for you, él, ella, and usted for he, she, and you formal. Nosotros for we, they and you guys, ellos and ustedes. So they're all the same, right? So again, we do the same thing. We separate the ending from the stem. And so these are the endings that we add on. Just like AR and ER verbs, we add an O to the end when we're using the yo form. So when we use to, we add the ES just like we do for the ER verbs. There's no difference. And for he, she, or you, we add the E at the end, which is the exact same as the ER verbs, if you remember.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So we have we for nosotros, and this is where it's a little bit different. You see, for the AR verbs, we added
Almost.
Yes, we added almost. Yes, that's correct. And for the ER verbs, we added emos, EMOS. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
So for I, we add emos, which is IMOS.
As emos?
Yes. Yep, that's the ending for regular IR verbs. And for they and you guys, it adds an E and an EN to the end of the stem. And that's the same as the ER verbs. So the difference between ER and IR verbs is only in the nosotros form with the emos, IMOS. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So I do have an example of that. So regular IR verbs are a little bit difficult to find. Most of them are irregular, but I did include some of them in here. So just an example here, we have vivir, which is to live, right? So that's an IR verb, have that. And so we have the stem here, which is VIV, and the IR is the ending. So just like our other verbs, we use the VIV for conjugation, right? Because that's the stem.
Yeah.
So I have a conjugation here. So we have yo vivo. Can you tell me what that means based on the conjugation?
I live.
Yes, there you go. So we have I, and then we have the stem, the VIV, and the O ending for IR verbs. Okay. So then we have tu vives. Can you tell me what that means?
You live.
Yes, there you go. So you have you, and then you have the stem, VIV, and the ending, which is ES, the same as ER verbs. So next we have él, ella, and usted vive. Can you tell me what that means?
He, she, or you live.
Yep, good job.
Why is it two U's?
So this one, the two, and I will actually add this in, is informal. And let me add in that this is formal. So pretty much when you use to, like when you're talking to your friends or your parents or your pet, anything like that, you use to. But when you're talking to someone like your teacher or your boss at work or your friend's grandparents or somebody like that, you would use usted. And most people, depending on the region, don't
So
really.
is this like ignorant or something?
It's not really ignorant. It depends on honestly like what part of like the Spanish speaking world you're in, but most people honestly do not care if you use to. Usted just has like a little bit more of respect. To isn't ignorant or anything like that. Like when I'm referring to like my parent or something, I would call them to. It's not ignorant, but usted has a little bit more of like a respectful tone. Even like with people that you've known for a long time, like my professors in school, we refer to each other as two because I've just known them forever. And it's just like usted is kind of like when you're talking to somebody that you don't know, or like your boss at work, or things like that. So
Yeah, I get it.
you get it? You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean like
Strangers. Yeah. They use it for strangers, people you don't know.
yes, yeah, or like, people that, your boss at work, your even some of your teachers might prefer usted. It doesn't really matter. For me, like if you're referring to me, you could use to. It's really a personal preference. And so it's and also like there's places in Latin America where they only use usted, and then there's places where they only use to. It really depends on where you're at, but for now we're just gonna go for like the regular rules of it, and you can use to when you're referring to me, you can use usted, whatever you'd like. It doesn't really matter to me.
I get it.
Okay, good. So you got he, she, you, live. Great. So we got that. And we up here we have nosotros vivimos. Can you tell me what that means?
We live.
We live. Yes, good job. So again, we have the stem, VIV, and we have the ending, emos, which remember, emos is different from the ER endings. So that's the only one that's different. And for down here, we have ellos and ustedes viven. Can you tell me what that means?
They, you guys, or y'all live.
Yes, there you go. And just like all the other ones, we have the stem of VIV and the ending of EN. So is this making sense?
Why is it still E's in the IR?
What was that? I'm sorry.
Why is it still like ending like
Like
the ending is like still an E?
like these?
If they
They actually I don't know the reason why, but for just the endings, I guess that they decided that it wouldn't look good with an I, so they just use an E. I don't know why. but that is just, let's go back to our chart here. But that is just how they do it. I don't know. I mean, it does make it a little bit easier for you guys because it's the same as the ER verbs. But the only one that changes between IR, let me see here. So here's our ER
the-
conjugation. What was that?
It's the AR, right?
Well, yes, the AR is different from the ER and the IR. But you can see here, with the ER, here we are. We have O, ES, E, amos, and N, EN. So that's our ER conjugation. And here's IR. We have O, ES, E, IMOS, and EN. Do you see how the only difference?
That's emos.
Yes, yep, that's the only difference between conjugating IR and ER verb. Do you get it? Do you get that?
Yeah.
Okay. And then remember, AR is AR is O, AS, A. The AR verbs are different from ER and IR. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The one thing that is the same throughout all of the verbs is in the yo form. When you say I, you always add an O at the end. It doesn't matter what the ending of the verb is, it always ends in an O. Okay. Would you like another example of IR verbs, or do you think that you're okay?
I get it.
Okay,
I don't
good.
need it.
Okay, so I do have another vocabulary list here, but we are running low on time. So I think I'm gonna say this is already in Google Classroom. I put the PowerPoint in already. If you'd like to review it, you can look at it online, but I think we're just gonna go over this on Monday because we only have 4 minutes left. So we'll go through that and we can do some conjugations and things like that with this stuff on Monday. So because I don't want to have to rush through that. So I do have a slide here for our plans for next week. So again, because this stuff's important, we're just going to review our AR, ER, and IR verb conjugations. Just like we did today, we're just going to go through them again. And we're also going to review the subjects. Now remember, our subjects are like our yo, tu, el, ella, usted, those kind of words. So we'll go over them if needed, but we'll go over them anyway. So we're gonna go over this vocabulary list that I just made since I didn't get to go through it today. We're gonna work with that. We can conjugate those verbs and we can use them in sentences, things like that. I'll work with you guys on that. I think we're probably on Thursday, we're gonna start working on the irregular verbs, which they're not too difficult. Once you learn them, you'll be all right, but don't worry about that for now. I'll probably try maybe to add in more vocabulary on Thursday to help us form sentences. I am gonna, like I said, I am working on setting up Jamboard and Nearpod so we have some more places that we can put activities and things like that. But don't worry too much about that for now. And I want to thank everybody for coming to class today. I hope that you guys all have a good weekend, and remember that our next class is on Monday. And
Okay.
oh, and also I don't know, like I said, I will send out an email probably a little bit later on today with the link to join Google Classroom if you haven't done so already. I think that you're already on it, I think, but I'm not. I know that most people are not. So I will send out a link for that so everyone knows what's going on. And just a little vocabulary here. We have buen fin de semana. If you want to say to someone, oh, have a good weekend, you would just say buen fin de semana. And that, you don't have to remember that, but I thought it was cool to put in. So does anybody have any questions or anything like that before I end our class today?
Is there any classwork that's due?
Not yet. I'm gonna try and I'm putting Google Classroom together. Like I said, this is my first class teaching and things like that. So I'm working on getting some of this stuff together. But definitely if I don't have something ready for Monday, I'll have an assignment on Google Classroom for Thursday. It won't be too much, just kind of like a review and things like that. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I'm going to stop my share here. Okay. So, is everybody, any more questions or anything for me, or are we all okay? Everyone's okay? Okay. All right, I'm gonna stop the recording here because I'm